Welcome to day 3 social class. So in the previous class we discussed about Kuomintang or Kuomintang party, about the Chiang Kai-shek and his policies and all. Actually Chiang Kai-shek, he belongs to the party which was formed by Sun Yat-sen, but he not followed his principles. Sun Yat-sen principles he not followed and he failed in that. After that, what happened in 1921? That is first actually the Russian Revolution, we know that. In Russia, the Russian Revolution, it became success in 1917. First time in the world, the working class people, they formed the government. Communist government formed. After the success of Russian Revolution, the leader, the Bolshevik leader Lenin, he formed a Kuomintang. He formed a Kuomintang. What is Kuomintang? He formed a Kuomintang in 1918. Kuomintang means Communist International. It is an organization. Communist International Organization. It is called Kuomintang. So Lenin formed Kuomintang in 1918. For which purpose? To spread communism to other parts of the world and to stop, to end and to abolish completely the exploitation of the rich people and to bring importance and powers to working class people. So in this process, he established Chinese Communist Party CCP in 1921 in China. Lenin established Chinese Communist Party in 1921 in China. So because of the failure of KMT, what happened here? People, they started seeing about Chinese Communist Party. And for this party, the famous leader of China, Mao Zedong, he became the leader, important leader of CCP, Chinese Communist Party. His policy was completely different of Chiang's policy. And Chiang Kai-shek, comparison here, Chiang Kai-shek, he concentrated only urban areas. He completely neglected the rural areas and the people, the peasantry, farmers. But Mao Zedong, mainly he concentrated on the peasantry. And he want to develop the rural areas and he want to end the landlordism. The policy here, this is a communist party, that is socialism, communism. What is the socialism here? Equal importance. There should be no rich, no poor, equal importance of the people. And all the people has to get equal powers. So he want to end landlordism and completely he want to reduce the power of warlords and landlordism and redistribution of the land to the poor people and to introduce land reforms in China. This was the main aim of Chinese Communist Party. So he concentrated mainly, Mao concentrated mainly on the peasantry who were neglected by Chiang. Now what he did, by his speeches and all, he attracted the peasants. And he formed an army of peasants also. He formed an army of peasants. He formed an army of peasants. And so many farmers, the rural area people, they attracted towards the party and his Mao's policies and they joined in that. He got full support from this. Not only the problems of the farmers, here he addressed the problems of women also. Here also, Chiang, he don't want to give any importance for women. But Mao, not like that. Unlike Chiang, he want to give equal importance and he felt that women also has to get equal rights and they have to get equal importance. Women education should be important and they have to do jobs and all. Even in political sphere also, women participation is very important, and particularly in the personal life, the early marriages and without the consent of the girl, the marriage should not be done by the parents. Even he want to make easy the divorce system and also. If they are not interested, easily they can take the divorce and all, but should not struggle, should not suffer in their lives. So he want to completely change the position of women also. So that's why what happened, he won the hearts of women also and he got the support from women. So women, the peasants and all, so many people, they joined in CCP. By all the policies of Mao, CCP, it got lot of popularity in China. When KMT lost its importance, CCP got the popularity because of his policies. Then naturally what will happen here, jealousy started. And the Kuomintang or KMT party, Chiang and his followers, they want to take revenge on CCP and they made number of attacks on the base of CCP. Then to escape from the to escape from the attacks of the Kuomintang party, what he did, Chiang Kai-shek, that is, to escape from the attacks of the Chiang Kai-shek and his followers, CCP, Mao and his followers, along with his followers, Mao, from 1928 to 1934, in this period, they went to Jiangxi area, that is the mountain areas, Jiangxi area, mountain areas. They went there, they stayed there itself. They formed a base in the mountain areas only, and from there itself they continued their programs. Here, what happened? He formed one farmers' council. He formed a council, a group of farmers' council, or Peasants' Council. Peasants' Council was formed by Mao. It is called as Soviet. Already we discussed about this Soviet. Soviets means the Council of Peasants. In Russian Revolution, we discussed about the Soviets, how they played an important role in the Russian Revolution. Here also, from mountain areas only, so he continued his reforms and all, and Peasants' Council, Soviets were formed. And a strong base for the rural people, for the farmers, he formed. But what happened, even though they are doing from there, and they are starting confiscation of land from the landlords and distribution among the poor people, the landlords, they continued unofficially. But here what happened, he wanted to make a major program to bring awareness among the farmers. That's why he he made one program that is called Long March. Long March. This is 1 year, 1934 to 1935. 1 year, Mao conducted a long march along with his followers. What is this long march? Means he toured 6,000 miles. 6,000 miles. In 1 year time. 6,000 miles up to Shaanxi area. He visited mostly the rural areas, 6,000 miles, or we can say 10,000 kilometers. 6,000 miles or 10,000 kilometers area he toured, and he conducted a number of meetings and all in the rural areas. And this long march, so many people, the rural areas are attracted by him. Other people also attracted by his speeches and all. This long march of Mao electrified the nation, and a lot of popularity they got for CCP party. And by this, after that, what happened? So when the popularity of Mao increasing more and more, again Kuomintang party started attacking all these people. Then they changed their base to the area Henan. So after that, what happened? Lot of changes have taken place. So Mao, in this way he won the horse. Then what happened? The changes what taken place here, 1937. In 1937, Japan attacked on China. Japan, it tried to occupy, to bring under the control all the eastern parts. So Japan attacked on China in 1937 and occupied most of the areas, the important areas of China, because here no powerful government not there here. So occupied the areas. Now for this Chinese people, another problem started. What is this? One side European powers and the other side Japan problem. And Japan tried to impose the cruel rule on Chinese. So the people already they are in problems. Now they struggle more and more. So in this situation, both CCP and KMT, Kuomintang party, they decided to work together. So this is the correct policy. What is this policy? If any outsider is attacking the country or want to occupy or impose their rule, the people of the country, they have to forget all the differences and they have to join the hands, and they has to try and they have to work hard to protect their country. Here, these two parties did that only. CCP and KMT both are quite opposite and they are enemies. Enemies means opposite parties. But what happened here? They both joined hands to fight against Japan rule. To fight against Japan rule. So by this what happened? These both parties, they led a lot of revolutions and all. We know that 1939 Second World War started. 1939 Second World War started. Japan, which side in the Second World War? Axis power side. Axis powers. Up to 1941, Axis powers, they got victories more and more. Axis powers got victories. So Japan thought that it will control China. The attempts of CCP and KMT not became successful. But 1941 December, when America entered into Second World War, the situation completely reversed and Allied powers victory started. The victory of Allied powers started from 1941. So we know that finally what happened? In 1945, Japan surrendered to Allied powers. USA dropped bombs on Japan and Japan surrendered to Allied powers. So it was not Japan complete. Half of the Japan was destroyed and surrendered to Allied powers. Then how can it control China? So it was not possible. It is not at all possible for Japan to control China. So in this situation, in 1945, Japan completely control. Japan's control completely got completely removed from China. So here what happened from 1945, the control of Japan completely gone. So from 1945 to 1949, in this period, people faced a lot of problems because uncertainty. Allied powers, they got victory, but European powers, they got victory, Allied powers, some Allied powers, but they got heavy losses also. And here what happened? They are not at all able to control, they are not at all colonize China and not able to provide all the facilities to the people also. In this situation, monthly 30% prices increased. And particularly poverty, agriculture completely destroyed. And in this period, this 45 to 49, this period, China faced two types of problems. One is ecological problems and another one is economic problems also. Ecological problems means agriculture completely destroyed, soil exhaustion, soil fertility gone completely, and no crops, crop failed, no proper rainfall, and nobody taking care, no help from the government also. And at the same time, economic condition also, prices increased more and more, people were not able to get the unemployment started and all, people suffered a lot in this period. So finally, after Second World War, the European powers, they started giving independence. They started colonization, slowly started decreasing, and one by one the countries, Asian countries, they got independence. We got in 1947 independence. So China also finally it got independence in 1949. That is People's Republic of China. People's Republic of China, formed in 1949. Finally, the Europeans' control gone and the European colonization ended and People's Republic of China formed in 1949. Okay. One more problem started here. What was the problem? Up to the defeat of when Japan occupied China, this CCP KMT both worked together. After the defeat of China, when they got independence, then these two parties started fighting among themselves. Fighting between themselves. Why they started fighting between themselves? To get the power, to occupy the power of China. Here, we have to observe one thing. For KMT, we know that after the Second World War, the one change taken place in the world. World divided into two groups, two blocks, USA bloc and USSR bloc. So for KM, we know that CCP party, Chinese Communist Party. So it has the support of USSR. We know that. Then in this situation, for KMT, USA gave support. USA gave support to KMT. And CCP already has the support of USSR. So here, both USA and USSR, they indirectly they want to impose their power, means to impose the power and control of China. But finally what happened here? The people support. These two parties, CCP, KMT, they fought between themselves for the power. But finally what happened? People are in the side of CCP. They supported CCP. Already Mao attracted by his policies. The people were attracted by Mao. So CCP got the support of the people and finally government formed. New government formed in 1949 in independent China. That is People's Republic of China. So in the mainland of China, CCP formed the government. And Kuomintang party, it formed government in island, Taiwan. It formed the government in the Taiwan island. So China's mainland, CCP formed the government. And it formed on the principles, the new government formed on the principles of new democracy. It formed on the principles of new democracy. The new government in China formed on the principles of new democracy. What is this new democracy? It is a principle of association of all the people, simple only, association of all the people who are against the landlordism and against the capitalism, against the landlordism and against the capitalism, association of all the people. With them this new democracy formed. Here the Mao's agenda, the agenda of Mao, twin agenda. He has a twin. Twin means two policies. Twin agenda of Mao. So what is that? One is twin agenda. One is abolition of landlordism and distribution of land to the poor people. And another one is the development, that is nationalization. Nationalization of all the important sectors. What is nationalization? So bringing under government control. The important sectors, what are there? Bringing all under government control. Then if they are under government control, they can easily help to the poor people and they can impose the policies and all whatever they want to impose without any opposition or restriction, without any problem. So the twin agenda is, one is landlordism, abolition of landlordism, distribution of the land to the poor people, and another one is nationalization. So with these two policies, twin agenda, Mao came to power. After that, what he promised to the people, one by one he started fulfilling the promises. In 1950-51, in this period, after 1 year, after getting independence after 1 year, Mao started the program of land reforms. Because he promised that only for the people, land reforms, that is collecting the land or taking the land of the rich, confiscation of the land from the landlords and distributing to the poor people. That program started in 1950-51, this time. What happened here? Here work teams were formed in the country level. Work teams were formed in the country level, and at the same time, even the village level also, the farmers associations formed. What was their duty? These work teams in the country level, they have to visit each and every area, and they have the farmers association. In each and every village, they have to form the farmers associations. With the farmers only the leaders of that groups. And after that, these committees, what they did? They conduct the meetings. First of all, each and every village, they collected the information of the landlords, how much land is there, how many landlords are there, how many poor people, landless people and all, how to distribute the land. So they conducted the meetings and all, and on the spot they collected the land from landlords and distributed to the landless people. The landlords who opposed to this policy, they were executed, hanged. Nearly 10 to 20 lakhs landlords were hanged. In this who opposed this program of land reforms. So in this way, what happened in China? Land reforms introduced. That is nearly 34% of China's. So here, 34% of China's land distributed to 60% of the 43%. 43% of main land of China. 43% of the land of China distributed among 60% of the people of China. So 60% of the people of China got benefit by these land reforms. And small for landless people, they got new land now. And at the same time, the small farmers, means whose initial position is little bit strong, at least having 1 or 2 acres of land, small farmers, they also got some land. And landless people also, they got land. But when compared to landless people, the small farmers, their position, middle class people, they got position became little bit strong. So in the place of landlords, now middle class emerged. Middle class people and this next, the small farmers emerged. And the middle class people, they became strong in the politics also. So not only these land reforms and all, and Mao also gave lot of importance for education. And adults schools for farmers, uneducated farmers, he established adult schools for them. Means to get education. That is in education, agriculture, about agriculture and modernization techniques and all. At the same time, about political education also gave importance for them. And at the same time, primary schools also started for the children. Important point, universalization of education started. Universalization of education. So all the people has to get education. And here what happened? Primary schools was formed for small children. Even uneducated farmers also, now they got education, and women, particularly women, lot of facilities were provided for women. Women education women education developed a lot. And at the same time, the position of women also improved, and they also got equal status along with the men. In this way, China got lot of development. In a short period, China developed a lot. So this is all because of Mao and his policy. So the worldwide, all the important historians and all, they appreciated the policies of Mao and the development of China. In this way, Mao became a supreme leader and a very powerful leader and important leader of China. So after that, slowly one party, single party rule started here, and no chance for opposition parties here, and the full powers taken in the hands of the Mao, and the important leader Mao, and he was called as chairman. So the chairman was more powerful, full powers taken by them, and no opposition party, nothing, and single party rule started in China. So these are the reforms of Mao. So in this way, China got independence, China's freedom struggle, and they got independence, and development also taken place. Tomorrow we will discuss one more.